In which case Johns Hopkins might have an extra man. Let's take a look.
Burnett is going to be whistled, and he will go into the penalty box.
So we should have only 5 men, and we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the goalie down there. Johns Hopkins, the one-man advantage for 30 seconds. Johns Hopkins on extra man.
Well, let's see how they convert it. Cook wheeling it around now. They've got to hurry because you don't get that much time. It's not like a 2-minute penalty in hockey.
They're going to try and move the ball around to try and get North Carolina's defense moving. North Carolina playing a zone defense.
Krummenacker's open in the slot, and here they go to him. He passes up the shot, gets it inside. Ciccarone in the save. A big save by Sears.
And this time there is going to be an interference call. It looks like there's an interference call here, and it's going to go against. It looks like it's going to go against Johns Hopkins, so North Carolina should have the ball. Let's take a look at it now. You're going to have a shot on goal by Ciccarone. A beautiful stuff by Sears standing right there. He's going to have that ball under his stick, and now the Hopkins players are going to try and rake that ball, and if they touch his stick, it's interference, which it is. Holman will get the ball, and Johns Hopkins thwarted on the first extra man play of this game. Unbelievably, none in the first half.
Well, that's a big opportunity that they let go by the wayside because they've got to get some goals, trailing 4-1. They created many more opportunities for themselves in that second period, but still, nonetheless, they got just 1 goal, and that's all that counts. You don't give credit for men left on base in baseball, and you don't get credit for shots in lacrosse. Look at Sears playing cat and mouse with Cook, and he comes away with it. Tom Sears, a bit of a showmanship on his part, and he comes away with it. Krummenacker picking up a loose ball.
Sears,
and now this is dangerous because Sears is nowhere near the goal, and he knocks it forward. Everybody getting chased. Bodies are flying everywhere. Ciccarone went down, and North Carolina's able to control it, and here they come with Randy Cox now as they overlap on the attack. This is Burnett. He's going to let it fly, and he hits it high and wide. Back again, 12:40 left in the third quarter. They lead it 4-1. This is Burnett. He had the shot a moment ago and let it go wide and high. Another good opportunity that the Tar Heels let go. Inside, and they score again. This time it's Vogel getting the goal. Peter Vogel, a great assist from Burnett, and that could be a tough one to come back from. North Carolina goes up by 4 at 5-1.
Peter Vogel on a sidearm rifle shot, just putting it over the shoulder of Holman. Let's take a look at it again. There's the feed right into the middle. He's going to come out. He's going to take 1 check over the head, a second check. He's still got it in his stick, winging that ball right over the shoulder of Brian Holman, as Johns Hopkins finds itself now down to the to the NCAA champions 5-1.
Well, I'll tell you, the goal is only 6 feet wide and 6 feet high, and Brian Holman is 5'11" and 170, so that tells you pretty much how much of a corner that Vogel picked. With a quick wrist shot, and he was able to score. And here's North Carolina now controlling the action with Stenerson off the faceoff. The Tar Heels trail it 5-1. Kendall now regroups and gets his teammates back into the attack and sends it back for Saletti. Joe Saletti, number 12 for Johns Hopkins. Now this is Jeff Cook. He's way out of his scoring range. He has still been shut out.
But they want him one-on-one right now.
And that's what he's doing. He had 6 in the championship match a year ago. Look at him trying to spin. He comes away, fires it in front, and Sears makes a save. A big save. Ball is still loose, batted away, and Randy Cox gives chase for Carolina and comes away with it. He knocks Kendall off like he was a fly, and here's Randy Cox sprinting downfield now. Odenthal tries to knock him down. Cox with a low shot, but the save for Holman.
And Holman's going to go right out over the top, maybe reverse it if Hopkins can handle the ball. The third period, 10.5 minutes remaining. Johns Hopkins only 1 score.
You can see the shot margin narrowing. Johns Hopkins still has an advantage, but they're 4 goals behind. As I said before, it doesn't really matter how many shots you take. You got to put it between the 2 orange poles. Vogel now tries to center it, and they score again. And I think it was Wingate. No, it was not. This time it was number 18, Jeff Holmeyer.
Holmeyer in the same type of shot that Dave Winfield got his goals, cutting it on the crease wide open. Johns Hopkins obviously very weak on the crease today. Let's take a look at it. A real quick feed, quick sticking it into the goal, just going to bounce it right off of the stick, barely touching it, flips it in. Holman not having a prayer at all.
A great feed, and Holmeyer gets the goal, and that for Jeff Holmeyer on the season for Holmeyer. He's had a good year, and that is his 20th goal. So North Carolina 6-1, and Joe, I hate to say it, we've got 10:18 left in the third period, but things are looking dark for Johns Hopkins.
Johns Hopkins has got to get that ball to Cook.
He's been pretty well out of the match today, and here come the Tar Heels. They want more. They're hungry. And now they lose control. Holmar was nearly beheaded on the far side, and he cannot come away with it. The action getting very physical down on the field now. Krummenacher over there for Johns Hopkins. He avoids a check, and now lets it go over the end line, but we've got a flag, and we should move it around. Sliding it inside, a great save. The ball's loose, and it's covered by Sears.
That's just a brilliant save by Sears. Johns Hopkins should have, by all rights, had the goal there. The man was naked, wide open on the side of the goal, and Sears stuffed him. This is the reason why Johns Hopkins has been held to 1 goal. Beautiful team defense, all the way down to All-American Tom Sears.
And now they try to just simply kill that penalty, and that extra man advantage for Johns Hopkins will be nullified soon. There you see Brent Vogel. He was the man whistled down, and he's getting ready to come back in.
All they have to do is clear that ball to the box on the other side of the field, and he'll come in at any rate, even if the penalty isn't over.
Just trying to kill that penalty with Millspaw now. Ted Millspaw for North Carolina, downfield for Burnett.
And now the penalty's declared over. They brought it inside the stalling box, and so he'll be able to come back on.
Millspaw sending it around the side for Burnett again. He wants somebody in front. He's knocked off. Look at this run right in front. A great save by Holman again, and we've got another flag. As you see Burnett go sailing into the goal mouth, knocking the net over. And let's wait and see what the call is. And I don't know how Holman was able to save the shot anyway, because Burnett was right on the doorstep with a great individual effort, and he nearly made it 7-1.
Be tough to pick between these two goalies today for first-team All-American.
Vogel now on the attack, North Carolina with that man advantage. They'll patiently work it around and look for the shot to come somewhere out of the slot when someone breaks free right in the middle. And I'll tell you what, this passing attack for North Carolina has been pinpoint today. Vogel's in that slot now, moving in right across in front. Oh, and he stumbles and falls, or they probably would have had another goal.
Took a shot from his knees, and it almost went in. Just bounced high over the goal. They'll maintain possession because they had the ball backed up. This was a minute penalty, so they've got some time left on it.
Kevin Griswold was the player that nearly had the goal and probably would have had he not lost his footing on the AstroTurf. Burnett now brings it back up. Out front they go. Around the back now, North Carolina looks for the opening. Here it is, right in front, Holmar, but he hits it high.
What they look for here is what's called a backside goal. They try and move the ball around, then flip it 180 degrees across and catch the man who's on the weakest side of this extra man defense. That's a backdoor shot.
7:52 left in the third quarter, 6-1, North Carolina leads it. Out in front, here it is, oh, great save by Holman. And North Carolina maintains possession once more. Griswold was robbed in front that time. The Tar Heels working this extra man to perfection. The shot is deflected in front. A nice bit of defensive work for Johns Hopkins that time. Making the play was Joe Saletti.
Brian Holman, a beautiful job in goal. We just can't say enough about him or Tom Sears, who stuffed him all afternoon.
7 minutes left now, third quarter. Johns Hopkins has to get going offensively. They've been playing like they were ahead this period. They haven't had any good scoring chances. This is Jeff Cook. What a silent gun he's been all day. And now Burnett nearly takes it away from him, and Cook is able to maintain possession. Boy, Burnett's all over him. Look at Burnett hawking it. Cook now streaking in. He's momentarily knocked off, whistles a shot. Sears makes the save, and we're going to have a penalty against North Carolina, I believe.
A beautiful move by Cook. I told you he was a gorgeous dodger. He drew the penalty. It looks like it's going to be a 1-minute slash. He pulls that stick, shows it a little bit. Let's take a little bit. Cook on the ground, getting up, going through one defender, another one. They're all over his head, all over him. Two defenders harrying him, hawking him into the goal. A third slash, a third player coming in. He's going to take a shot that goes over the goal. The flag, the laid flag in lacrosse is evident. And so Johns Hopkins will have another chance on extra man, trailing 6-1. They desperately need this goal, Kevin.
Well, Joe, you put the kiss of death on the extra man situation. We said there hadn't been one in the first half. You couldn't remember how long it had been, and now it seems like every other minute we've got one. Johns Hopkins has it right now. And they need the goal. Cook from behind the net leaves it for Peter Scott. Out front for Krummenacher. That's Donnelly sending it outside for Cook. Trying to move it very quickly to get that open shot. And it's deflected, and North Carolina comes away with it. So the Tar Heels once again with some brilliant defensive action done by Gary Burns. And now they give it away, and Krummenacher comes away with it. Johns Hopkins still with the extra man. Krummenacher moving down unmolested, leaves it for Donnelly. Over for Cook now. He passes up the shot. Ciccarone has it deflected, and it goes over the sideline.
Some beautiful team defense being played by North Carolina. Sears occasionally tested, but most of the time he really doesn't have to make the save. It's being made outside.
Handling the ball.
Donnelly's got a great outside shot, a Canadian player, and he can wing it.
But he passes up the shot. This is Peter Scott for Krumenacker. It's deflected. Krumenacker retrieves his own shot now, and we've got a whistle. And it goes against Johns Hopkins and Peter Scott.
It's going to be a moving pick once again. You can't downfield block when somebody has possession of that ball. You can't run interference. So Johns Hopkins squanders yet another opportunity to draw closer to North Carolina, as North Carolina unbelievably holding Johns Hopkins down to 1 goal.
6-1 with better than 22,000 on hand at Scott Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia. Kevin Slayton along with Joe Harlan bringing you the action here on ESPN. The national championship battle, and North Carolina is dominating. The Blue Jays moving it around. They need the goal. Buzzing around the net. Peter Scott for Krumenacker. Over in the slot, Ciccarone. He likes to shoot from there. Passes it up. Donnelly with the low blast, and he scores! Mike Donnelly getting his second goal of the game for Johns Hopkins.
Donnelly, the Canadian cannon, firing a low burner from the outside. When he's not playing for Johns Hopkins, he represents his team, Team Canada. Ball across. And he's just going to do a low side armor. Here it comes. Right-handed, skips across the turf, and jumps in the goal. So Johns Hopkins finally gets blood as they're up or down by a score of 6-2, really doubling their 1-goal performance of the first half. Donnelly, as we said, plays for Canada. Sears, by the way, and Cook play for the United States team in the upcoming World Games that will be held in Baltimore in June.
Donnelly with 2 goals for Johns Hopkins. Wingate has 4 for North Carolina. And Johns Hopkins coming back quickly once more. Jeff Cook loses control. And Johns Hopkins is able to maintain possession, though. So the Blue Jays still have it.
North Carolina very, very aggressive on defense. Not being satisfied just to single team a man, double teaming, triple teaming sometimes.
Moving inside, this is Kendall with the screen. Half screen, he's 6'4", 210. So Johns Hopkins in possession. They've been down at North Carolina's end of the field for quite some time now. They've been able to dent it once. Odenthal with the low shot, and I don't think Sears saw that one, but it went wide of the net. He didn't react till it was well past him.
As we pointed out so many times before, though, that close defense has really prevented Sears from having to make saves.
Johns Hopkins on the attack again. Odenthal the low shot, and Sears got a piece of that one, and he deflected it high and over the net.
Apparently Henry Ciccarone has given these guys the same license 007 has. They can gun anytime they want from outside.
Out in front, and they lose control. Let's see who comes up with a loose ball. It is still loose. North Carolina will get it. So the Tar Heels did a nice job, and Jamie Allen finally controlled it. And Allen now has it behind his own goal.
North Carolina excellent on their clearing with their defensemen. Generally, the defensemen are not considered as good ball handlers as attackmen or midfielders, but those guys with the long sticks have been all the difference right now. As you see, the North Carolina player with the ball and a stick just sitting there taking his time, under 2.5 minutes, flipping it across the field left in this third quarter.
Doug Hall with a lot of running room, and he lets go of the shot in front, nearly deflected in by Wingate, but it went high of the mark. Now let's see who has it. North Carolina will retain possession.
Wingate went up on that one like a center going up on the basket. Picked it out of the air and flipped it and just went wide of the mark.
You can see the players, some wear shoulder pads, some don't, some wear bigger ones. Nice interception by Holman on a pass that went right out in front of the goal. Holman now has it deflected out of his mitts. Volkel trying to shovel it back in, but Holman alertly picked it up, and Dubin now sends it downfield, and here comes Johns Hopkins on the attack. The Blue Jays moving it with Matt Tersani. And they're on that type of situation.
Depends on how close you are to the referee and what he sees. A judgment call all the way.
This is Cook behind the net now. Johns Hopkins with, in effect, a power play opportunity.
Hopkins trying to force the crease on that one. Now they'll go to their outside shooters.
Donnelly moving in. He scored a moment ago. He's got 2. They've got another one, and Cantelli got it on a great feed from Peter Scott.
And here comes Johns Hopkins, romping and stomping. The Blue Jays are flying again. They just added 2 goals in this quarter to make a ball game out of it. UNC 6, Johns Hopkins 3.
We've got a minute 30 left in the third quarter, and here's the replay.
Let's take a look at it. A beautiful feed right across the face of the goal. An extra man flipped in over Sears' shoulder. He didn't have a prayer. That's the kind of shot they've got to have. They've been forcing the crease all day. Couldn't get it till the extra man situation. Kevin, as we mentioned before, extra man situation could make a great deal of difference in this game. Teams getting tired, more fouls, and Johns Hopkins has taken advantage of it yet again now to draw within 6-3 of North Carolina.
Cantelli with his 14th goal of the year. You know, I guess if you're Willie Scroggs, the coach of North Carolina, you just tell your players, hey, if we don't foul, if we don't get penalties, we've got control of this one. They're still up by 3. No reason to panic yet. But sloppy play like that will be a reason soon. And here's Johns Hopkins coming away with it. Here they come with Benninghoff.
And they've got that important thing, Mr. Momentum, and that can be the difference.
Scott moving in now, wants to go one-on-one, elects not to. Runs around in front, and his shot is wide of the mark.
And the crowd can feel it. We can hear the crowd. North Carolina has a chance to be all even. They want to slow this game down. They're leading 6-3, and Johns Hopkins has had the last 2 tallies, so they're trying to change the momentum back to them.
Griswold on the move for Carolina now. Inside, they scored. It was Wingate. He's got 5 today and 40 on the season.
Wingate, a spectacular season. Not that much heard from last year. Scored 4 goals against Johns Hopkins, including the winning goal earlier in April. And here they come. Wingate coming open on the crease. Fast flip right into him. Quick sticking and hardly holding that ball in stick for a second. Right over Holman's shoulder. And that's been the trademark of North Carolina today. Every time Johns Hopkins has tried to get up off the mat, North Carolina has hit him like a man hitting a fly with a fly swatter.
What a big play, and Wingate, as you look at him, 5 goals today, and that one has to be the most important, at least up to this point, because that quiets the crowd. That takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails for Johns Hopkins. But look at Davidson winning yet another faceoff for Johns Hopkins to Peter Scott as he moves in. We've got a whistle. Room to take it. And now he's going to do it. Nice move he makes. Gets around Cox and lets it fly just wide. Well, I think he was listening to me.
Those shots are getting through, Kevin, but they're not on target. As you pointed out before, Johns Hopkins shooting well, but a little bit off target.
John Krumenacker taking that last shot. He's had a number of shots himself today, but hasn't put one on goal yet. Jeff Cook, he's been shut out. 31 goals, 28 assists on the season. Hasn't done anything today. North Carolina has effectively shut the door on him. Peter Scott now tries to get out in front. This is Ciccarone. Thought about the shot, but passed it up. Around the horn, this is Krumenacker at the point. Krumenacker again. He'll shoot it. It's deflected in front, and it goes high over the net.
Again, Johns Hopkins looking for the screen, shooting on the offside, the off-stick side of the goalie, but they just can't get it through that defense.
In front they go. Great save by Sears. Ball is still loose, and Sears scoops it up, but
we'll go to the regular EMO, 6 men against 5. Johns Hopkins in possession.
Well, the last 2 times they had the man advantage, they were able to capitalize. Let's see if they do it now. Boy, I can't believe that North Carolina would get called for penalties like that with a 4-goal lead. This is Jeff Cook, his best opportunity of the day, but he loses control. Millspaw gives chase. And now we've got a whistle. It goes out of bounds, and it'll belong to North Carolina.
North Carolina are playing very, very aggressive defense. Let's take a look again as Jamie Allen does not give up on the ball. He'll check that ball out of the Hopkins player's stick, Ciccarone, and it's going to go out of bounds, not off of Allen's stick, but off of Ciccarone's, and North Carolina will have the ball. Johns Hopkins is up a man, so they're going to play man for man and really dog that ball. Under 10 minutes to go in this ball game.
Joe, how different was that call from the slashing calls that we've seen earlier?
As long as they hit him on the stick, you're perfectly all right.
Nearly an interception by Krumenacker at midfield, but North Carolina with Cox now. Here they go, right in front. Mac Ford, he can't handle it. Oh, he had an easy goal. Jeff Kendall with the ball. They're down 4 goals, and they're dancing around like they had the lead. Saletti now for Johns Hopkins. He penetrates. Flips it over. This is Cantelli. Scored earlier. Scores again. Cantelli gets his 2nd goal of the game. Now that pulls it to within 7-5. I guess they knew just what they were doing.
They knew exactly what they're doing. That's part of their set splits offense. They wanted to give that ball off, have the man come off the pick around the side, beat him coming from behind, and he was open on the goal. Joe Saletti taking the ball, taking 1 turn on the stick and coming in and shooting. Here he goes. He's got his man beat coming inside. Another man right behind him. Fires the ball down past Sears. Sears allows only the 4th goal of this game against Johns Hopkins, and Hopkins still not dead.
Well, ever since David Wingate got North Carolina off to that flying start with 3 quick goals in the first period, it's been dead even. Each team has scored 4 times, but North Carolina still has that 3-goal lead. That's the one thing they haven't traded, and they lead it 7-4 with 8:20 left in the game.
Now Johns Hopkins has got to prevent that quick goal that's been the trademark of North Carolina.
And here they come. Brent Volkel unable to handle it. He's knocked off the ball, and we're going to have a call that goes against for the Blue Jays. If they don't score 3 more goals, they're going to go down to their 2nd straight national championship game defeat. In front, Saletti. He's trying to shoot with Benninghoff screening, but it didn't work. He shot it wide.
You have to give Hopkins credit for staying with their game plan. They're not getting rattled. They know there's over 7.5 minutes to go, or about 7.5, and they're still trying to get that ball on the screen shot from the outside.
Odenthal out front now, whistles the low shot, and it's knocked wide. I think Sears got a piece of it, but once again they used the big man Benninghoff, number 23, the 6'4", 210-pounder, to screen Sears.
And Sears is coming out to cut off the angle on that ball.
Once again, Scott's flipping it out. This is Odenthal out front on the near side. That is Saletti. They just whistle it around the horn. Saletti wants to move inside. Back out for Odenthal. He'll let it fly. The low shot, whistles it wide of the mark. So they're getting the shots, but they're not on goal. Wouldn't you rather just put it on goal and hope for the rebound, Joe?
That's what they're looking for. Something to get something moving right now as the ball is checked away. North Carolina, Johns Hopkins coming away with a big fat goose egg unless they can get this ball back.
Randy Cox with the long pass. It was dangerously so.
And it looks under 7 minutes to play. Johns Hopkins still down 7-4.
And Ciccarone still upset on the sidelines. North Carolina should get another goal. Well, you hate to say it'll be over, but it'll be as close as you can.
Well, Johns Hopkins has got to show a little more offense here.
Griswold in control for the Tar Heels. Flips it behind the net to Volkel. Back outside they come with it. And the Tar Heels very content to just patiently set something up. Griswold now on the attack. Spins 2 different ways. Look at Dubin defensively. Nearly forces a turnover.
Great stick handling. Great stick handling by North Carolina in there, Kevin.
Very poised on the attack. And it was Wingate who came away with it. This is Hallmeyer now moving in. Low shot, hit it wide. So Hallmeyer, who has already scored in this game for North Carolina. Now, North Carolina looks to be in pretty good shape to retain the national title. In front, the ball is loose and picked away nicely by Matrosini with a long pass. Jeff Cook has the best shot at retrieving it now for Johns Hopkins. Look at Sears out of his goal. You think there's not contact in this game. And it's called against Sears. Or against Cook, I should say, and North Carolina will control.
Sears coming all the way out from the goal, all the way over to the sideline, taking on Cook, the premier attackman in the country last year, Johns Hopkins premier attackman, and here's Sears playing the ultimate defensive position goal and knocking Jeff Cook out of bounds. There he is. Sears coming across, Cook trying to flip the ball up, no success. And that's the name of the game today.
Well, I know a lot of football coaches that would have been proud of that hit. Jeff Cook, his stick, the ball, everything went flying. And Sears got to call the boot. Jamie Allen moving downfield for North Carolina now. He leaves it off nicely for Stenerson. Now they're on the attack with Burnett. Left 7-4 North Carolina. The Tar Heels impressively coming out and taking a 3-goal lead on the strong shooting and accurate shooting of David Wingate. 3 in the first quarter. He went on to score 2 more. He's got 5 for the game. And he's pretty much been the story today. He's outscored Johns Hopkins all by himself.
That's absolutely correct. And it was those first 3 goals that have been the difference in this game. They've played even ever since.
Cook now looking for someone to get it to. In front, they scored! It was Donnelly again! So Donnelly for Johns Hopkins has a hat trick of his own. And it's 7-5 with 1:42 left.
Still got a ball game as we take a look. Johns Hopkins has not given up. Tired as they might be, they're still pressing onward. There's Donnelly's shot over Sears' shoulder, minute 42. You know, it's prophetic. We talked about the face-off at the beginning. We had some demonstrations of it.
In the game.
And here they go. Strength so important on this. Davidson nearly got hold of it. It's still loose. And Davidson scoops it up, but he can't control it in North Carolina with Doug Hall comes away with it. Quickly they go on the attack to Peter Volkel. The transition game again. Volkel moving in alone. Oh, he hit the post! He hit the post with that blast.
And I'll tell you, Willie Scroggs is going to be upset because I'm sure he wanted them to settle that ball. And here comes Hopkins.
Krumenacker the other way with a low shot in front. It's deflected and stolen nicely. Jamie Allen may have locked it away with 1:12 left. A long errant pass, though. North Carolina losing their poise momentarily. And now let's wait and see what the call is and who controls. Johns Hopkins will get it with 1 minute exactly left. 7-5 the lead. Ball moving upfield. Tries to split the defense. Gets it to Kendall. They need to shoot. They're down 2 goals. Donnelly now weaving around. Need to get it inside.
Gotta move it. Gotta move it. The fans are screaming at them. Don't stay with the ball. Let's go to the goal with it.
40 seconds left as Cook moves in the low shot and it bounces high. Sears had it measured and it bounced high with 34 seconds left. Well, who do you got to pick for MVP right now, the Vitalis player of the game?
Pretty tough. You got to go with Wingate, but what happens if Johns Hopkins comes up with these 2 goals and it goes into overtime? Can't tell.
Well, certainly you wouldn't be able to, but with 34 seconds it's doubtful, and I got to give the nod to Wingate also.
I got to feel that way. 5 goals, kind of hard to forget him.
Ciccarone, the low drive, and it's blocked at the defense with 25 seconds left. All North Carolina wants to do is watch the clock tick down, and they've got control of it. A big call, 1 ticks of the clock, and North Carolina will retain the national championship in lacrosse.
Johns Hopkins didn't go down without a fight, though. They fought back to try and get this game. Came within 2 goals of North Carolina. 21 seconds to go, and there's no question in my mind that Wingate's got to have it.
No doubt about it. He's been the stalwart.
He's been the difference in this game. He had 5 goals. Johns Hopkins had 5 goals. Can't ask for anything more out of a man than that.
Johns Hopkins will see their record drop to 11-3. North Carolina will remain unbeaten at 14-0 and 26 in a row over 2 seasons and 2 national titles to go with it. Ness with 8 seconds left. The crowd counting it down. North Carolina, the national champions in lacrosse for the 2nd straight year. It is over. 7-5. The Tar Heels embrace. There's the winning goalkeeper, Tom Sears. The crowd very happy. 7-5. North Carolina wins it. Johns Hopkins, the loser, but valiant in defeat. You look at better than 22,000 that came out to watch it. And for Willie Scroggs and the Tar Heels, a moment of jubilation. They brought an unbeaten record in here, one of the toughest situations to perform in when you're unbeaten and the favorite going in. And North Carolina was able to do it, and they come away unscathed for a 2nd consecutive year. 2 national titles and 2 unbeaten seasons in a row.